Come with me, and what better way to start the week off is a nice clutch-a-rooney on a little 2014 Golf. Now the customer's complaining of a little bit of a vibration through the vehicle and a horrible rattling noise when you're letting your foot off the clutch, and I'll just see if I can replicate it for you now. There you go, can you hear that? Well, that is a flywheel that's failed. First things first, with any clutch job we need to remove the airbox and the battery tray out of the way. Now that we've got everything out of the way, we've removed the gear cable bracket with 313s off the top of the gearbox, and that is pretty much it. We've got to remove this bolt here, that bolt there off the gearbox mount, slacken this one off but leave it in, and then everything now is underneath. Now we've got the vehicle in the air, we've removed the wheels and the centre dry shaft nut, also this inner wheel arch, just the lower half that fits down the bottom here, and the belly pan. Now we can make a start on removing both the ball joints, we can get the shafts out and also drain the oil out of the gearbox. Now that we've got both the dry shafts out and the engine now is now swinging in the chassis, we need to move round and see this in the dry flange. Get yourself a 6mm Allen key down the centre and take that bolt out on this flange now, or just pull out. Just like that. Now be careful with this because you do not want to be damaging it. Now we've come round and we've made the start on removing all the bellows and bolts. We've got the start motor on the floor there. We've undone the hydraulic sign for the clutch, various plugs for electrical connectors. And we just need to get now, wherever it has gone, my 18mm. And we can go up here and undo that last 18 supporting the gearbox mount, and then we can drop it down and get the top bellows and bolts. Now that we've got the gearbox down, you need to remove this little selector arm off the selectors up here, and there's a little white pin that you pull out and then it just slides out the top of the gearbox. And now we can get our 18 on an extension, go through the wheel arch now and undo all our bellows and bolts. And just like that, that gearbox is now off the engine. All we've got to do is let it down and come and get it to spin a rooney. Beautiful. Now we've got the gearbox off, we can now have a little listen and see how bad that flywheel is. It's quite bad, that is. Right, let's get some 9mm multi-spline now and get this clutch pack off. Now that we've got the clutch pack removed, you can quite clearly see now how much play is in that dual mass flywheel. Let's get some M12s and we'll get this flywheel off. And this is everything that we're going to need to put this car right. We've got the dual mass flywheel, your clutch plate, pressure plate, and also your concentric slave. Now, the reason why I use Schaeffler LUK all the time, LUK, genuine equipment. Now we've got the dual mass fitted back to the crank. I can't use my Allen key trick on this, so I've had to use 2 bolts. Nonetheless, these are 60 Nm and 90 degrees. You must always use new bolts. And that is the clutch plate and the pressure plate aligned back up and torqued up to the flywheel. And we've also put a brand new concentric slave on the gearbox with a little bit of red rubber grease on the output shaft. Right, let's get this gearbox put back in. And there we have it, that is one gearbox put back in the vehicle. Now I'm going to bore you putting all the dry shafts and putting the gearbox fluid in. I'm going to put it all back together and I'll show you how I bleed the clutch. So now we've got everything back together and the car is back on the ground. We need to collect our brake bleeding bottle. And what we're going to be using is a Launch Pro Brake 1 Plus. We're going to set that to 2 bar of pressure. And this little nipple here, we literally move it round 90 degrees. And that should bleed through beautifully. Oh, look at the colour of it. And that is the clutch all blade now. Look at the colour of that fluid. That is absolutely minging. All I've got to do now is just put the battery tray and battery box back in. And that is one car all put back together. Let's hop inside now and give it a big try-a-rooney. Now we're in the car, first things first, give your clutch pedal a good pump-a-rooney and make sure you've got no restrictions there. And you can give the car a big start. So listen, halfway down. Absolutely perfect. And there you have it, that is one clutch replacement and flywheel replacement on a Volkswagen Golf. It's going to torque the wheels up now and I'm going to take it down the road for a little bit of a test drive. Let's get it sent.